time's come to put a layer of 2-pack urethane paint on our tender. Now it's been totally undercoated twice and also has epoxy paint inside the actual hull. So I haven't done the bottom of the hull, but I'm ready to give it its first coat of topside. I've actually sanded it back twice, faired it as much as I think is necessary. A lot of the topside here is going to have stick down foam on it, whether it be like a teak look or just a patterned teak or patterned foam look. We'll decide later on. We'll get the topside paint on. Now I'm not actually going to paint this area here because the foam is going to be glued on here, and then we're going to cut the slot in the sail track, and then I can slide the fabric on. The fabric's just arrived. Neil from Barracuda Sails has sent me 4 meters of sunbrella, the black material that is similar to sunbrella. I guess it's the same that we used on our sail bag, and that will then match our tender as well. So it's going to be black and white. We're going for the black white look. That's the entire boat is black and white, so we're keeping with that monochrome look. We like it. It's nice and clean, very clean and you know, very distinct to our boat. We're in such a mess here because at the moment we're throwing stuff out and moving stuff away. I've just mixed up 450 mils of Northane base polyurethane paint. It's a 2-pack linear polyethylene. It is also incredibly strong. The fumes are just absolutely diabolical. I remember when I used this product about 3 or 4 years ago when I did Ron's hardtop. I was enclosed in our spray booth, which was this area here, and even with a respirator on, I got very overwhelmed by the fumes, so I hate it, and I'm going to get on with it and get it done so I can get out of here. So the first coat will go on. It's going to be a reasonably thick coat if I need to within 24 hours. In about 24 hours I can come in and give it a sand just to get it even more fair. Not really sure I'm going to need to, but I will give it 2 coats just for UV stability, and secondly to give it a bit of impact resistance. Obviously it's going to cop a lot of abuse, this tender. Hopefully the bunting on the side or the foam bolsters on the side will give the boat plenty of impact protection, but you know, it's as solid as a rock. This boat is going to take some punishment. We're in the last days of the factory, the last 5 days, and we've got a lot to do. There's just tons to pack up, but we're still working on the tender. Can you believe it? Down to the wire. So the hull's got 3 coats of epoxy primer and then 2 coats of polyurethane. It's come up as nice as I can get it because this really hasn't been fun. There's been no fun. We went home last night in the pouring rain, the night before in the pouring rain. We've decided to move back into our house for the next 4 days just to have a break because it's killing us. The factory's just in disarray. The whole thing has to be gone within the week. But for now, we've got to turn this thing over and start to work on the top sides because that's the only important bit really. Now that the hull's all done. But the urethane, the 2-pack polyurethane's come up and it's smooth. It's just not perfectly fair. Not my best work, but still looking pretty amazing, given that, you know, I've had to rush it, really. Shouldn't have had to rush it. I've been working on the thing since bloody June last year. Anyway, so we'll flip her over. What do you reckon?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it's good. It's not quite done. So I'm going to give it a quick sand just to get the little rough spots off it, and then I'm going to give it a really good paint with some 2-pack urethane.
So don't spend too much
No,
time
I'm going to spend time on the sides.
Yeah.
The final coat is now on. That is it. The top of the tender is going to have foam on it, so to soften it, because it's so hard. It's unlike an inflatable where you're sitting on it and you got a nice soft ride. It can be a bit of a brutal ride on the old bum. My mum used to say, "Don't sit on the hard concrete, or you'll end up with piles." I'm hoping I don't end up with piles on this thing because the vibration could be enough to induce that. But the painting's actually looking quite nice. Tomorrow morning I'm going to come in and slit the tube that I created for the sail track, and I've got Janet upstairs tomorrow sewing the sail track for here. That's going to house the foam fender, or the, what do we call it, a rub rail. We are 4 days now from moving out of the factory, and my God, look at it. God help me. I've still got a ton of stuff, but I have worked through a massive amount of stuff. I've kind of been to the tip 4 or 5 times, but trying to minimise what I throw out, because there's a lot of stuff I do need to keep, a lot of the good tools, and I'm just sorting stuff. What this involves is sorting painting gear, laminating gear. I've got a box of tapes here. Now, we don't want to get rid of this stuff, do we? Because you just never know when there might be a project in the future. But Janet wants me to see me complete this project, the tender, the factory move, and go sailing before I take on anything else. And I've got a few ideas for the future, but certainly going sailing is going to be the crux of the project right now. I need to learn how to get this thing up and down the coast and further if we decide to go that far. Now, one thing I've noticed, because I'm building this tender and it's going to have a beautiful soft rub rail all the way around it, on the side of our boat, every stand-up paddleboard that comes up to visit, every tender, every single boat is slamming into the back of my boat, and it's annoying the hell out of me. So I've decided to make some fender tenders, some tender fenders. I always get that wrong. About 6 months ago, when I was cutting up the molds for the hull, I retained the hull extension molds that I made. Now, the reason why I retained those is to be able to make some little fender protectors for the back end of the boat, and they will go right on the very stern of the boat, right on the top edge, just above the water, to stop this thing or anyone else from running into the actual boat itself. These will have 3 or 4 layers of glass. I'm not going to be anything fantastic, but they'll be about 5 mil thick, and they'll just get glued onto the edge. I could buy some rubber fender protector or some sort of rub rail and stick it on, but I think I'm better off just making some nice glass ones. With these, the nice thing about these, I can just give them a quick rub and paint them black gel coat, and we're ready to go. Now, the other thing I've noticed is on our boat, when we're handling the lines, we have a sloped floor where you're standing on the outboard side on the companionway, and you've got your foot on this slope and your foot's sliding into the hatch, and that is annoying me as well, because in wet conditions your foot can't retain any grip on it, and if you're operating a winch you need really have a lot of purchase and a flat spot to put it on. So this mold here came with the mold. It's actually a step mold for the fly bridge. I'll just show you a photo of what it actually is. These steps were originally made to access the fly bridge of the top floor of the Voyager V1270 power cat they made, which is the same boat as ours. Essentially, it's exactly the same except for the power plant, and obviously it was made in the factory. So this step here, I intend to make this step, and I ran out of white gel coat, but Janet said, why don't you make it out of black? That'd look quite good. So the black gel coat it is. That's all I have left. 2 containers of gel coat left. The rest is gone, and that is, wow, that's huge for me. Normally I've got a couple 100 litres of gel coat in stock. But these steps will provide a flat platform for us to put our foot on and be able to operate the winches and obviously step through into the helm station from outboard. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I'm going to bodge it up in the morning. I'll just knock in as many layers as I can onto those. The step will probably need a bit of foam in it. I've got a little bit of foam left. I can always do that. And while I'm packing up this bloody fiasco, I mean, look at it. I've just got stuff everywhere. Everything's ready to move. Everything has to go, and yep, look at it. It is an absolute shit fight in here at the moment, and absolutely everything has to go to our house, and we've only got a double garage, so God help us, which is already 3/4 full. So I've got pallet racking. I've actually gone 6 meters high in our garage, which is just fantastic. We've got a very tall garage, so we've got height. Thing is, I've got to get higher and higher, and then I've got to get everything in stock and in store. This large rolling box here came with a mold in it. It actually came with a surf kayak mold in it, which is out the back, and that is about to go to a scrap recycler. But the box itself, I'm intending to use it to store a lot of this sort of stuff, because Janet and I are taking off in about 3 weeks' time, and we just want to leave everything stored away so that we can come back and sort it another time. We're not going to go if we don't get all this crap sorted out. But yep, what a massive job this has been. I'm cleaning up down here. There's just so much stuff to be rid of. I mean, it's ridiculous, and we've got more stuff upstairs. So sadly, a lot of this foam is going to go to the bin. It's all laminated, so you really can't use it now. It's just the amount of excess fiberglass that's gone into that. It's just crazy. But yep, everything's going, and there's a lot going on, and very exciting time. I'm getting a little bit emotional because I've been here 25 years. I've been in this factory unit, and the boys next door are winding me up every minute. They're starting to get into me again. Like, the nice thing about being here for the last 12 months is because I'm up the back of the factory complex, I don't see anybody. I don't have any visitors. I love it. Every now and then someone will walk in, but none like when we were building the boat, where we had a visitor every half an hour. And honestly, I reckon I could have built the boat in half the time had I not had so many visitors. But that was my social life. The bloody mechanics next door now are moving into this factory unit as I move out. So yeah, they give me a hard time. They want to make sure I don't leave any stuff. I think I might just leave it all here. Amongst all the turmoil of moving out of the factory, we're trying to get this tender finished. We've got like 4 days to get it almost complete, and pressure's on me and the pressure's on Jan to get the skirt made for it. I've just spent the last hour or so just cutting the slot for the sail track, and that's along here, and it's had to be cut twice with an oscillating tool because I'm not going to use a power saw in case I stray. But yeah, Janet will just show it fits. Hopefully it fits. You ready? Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. Now I could have bought some stick-on stuff or some rivet-on stuff, but why would you when you can spend like 6 days putting in a track? Thanks to Vince and his bright ideas. Every time I get a bright idea, it takes 5 or 6 days longer than it could have done if I just bought the standard stuff. I could have bought some aluminium track or even some plastic sail track. But anyway, that's the top of the apron, and then the foam is going to be glued on, and then the apron will just cover it, basically. Rub rail cover. Janet's about to start making up in the sweatshop upstairs because I better tie up. Oh, you got the air conditioner on, haven't you? Okay, so that's all the way in. The only thing is, we want to make them one piece, don't we?
Well, you do, so I guess.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense to do that. So we're going to have to pull this one out and stretch this around.
No, get it out. I just need to pull it, huh?
It won't go all the way through because it ends. We don't want it to be able to be pulled out. There's an end. I'm leaving it terminal, so I can't go any further. If I pull it out, I'm going to end up with
how are you going to get this right?
And just stretch it all the way around. There's been great debate how to do the skirt, the rub rail, effectively on our tender, and Janet and I have had several consultation sessions down here today trying to work out the best way to match this thing to get it nice and taut and looking as good as we can. And we've decided to put a shock cord in the top and the bottom of it, and that'll be fed along the top here, which will actually hold the whole thing in. Now the sail track idea is just working a treat, but firstly you've got to cut it. So I'm going to cut the bottom one, and then Janet will be able to come in and make a temporary piece or a test piece just to make sure that we've got this all right, and then we can go ahead with the full fabrication of the skirt. I'm going to glue the foam onto the boat. That has to be glued on prior, probably the day before, and then we can just simply slide it on. The other thing too is I've left both ends of the conduit wide open so that we can flush it clean of salt and sand or whatever ends up in it, because no doubt they'll get some crap in it, and it's going to be a lot better if I just leave it open rather than shut one end of it. I did want to shut one end, but I think it's better off just to let it breathe. So I'll get the oscillating tool, and it requires 2 cuts because the thin blade certainly isn't enough to get it. As you can see, it's a little bit inconsistent, but we've designed a little hem flap with a shock cord in it that actually pulls it taut around the top. That pulls it taut around the top of it and actually improves the fit markedly. But anyway, I'll get in and cut it. Consultation number 50, but this is very important because we've only got one chance to get this right, and we've got like a day to get it right. Alright, show us your form.
What's that?
Alright, yeah, that's looking good.
Can't see what I'm doing. Oh,
Yeah, just slide along that. Alright, okay, so we've got a pouch, which is going to be super strong because Janet's going to make it strong.
Really easy. Oh, you've got to go back through this one.
Yeah, I haven't finished that one. Righto, and then stick the foam under it just to see if we get the right. Go on, and you're into the sail track. Yep, keep going. The foam will be on here. Ooh, that's the only thing. You might want to have a little bit of give. There's no give in that, is there?
Yeah, but I'm thinking it might give.
I can always trim the foam. I can sand the foam. I actually think. Show us. Oh, that's nailed it.
And then we can just tie it tight if we need to.
Oh, yeah.
So then when you put. Oh,
so that'll pull tight. Pull it against the boat though. That'll hold it. Yeah, that's going to be great. Beautiful, and on the bottom as well.
Yeah, you know the only problem with black?
Just hold the bottom one. That's perfect. Brilliant. And that'll stop any crap from getting in there too.
You know the only thing with black?
What?
Which is fine, because you've got black on black.
You can't see what you're doing.
Electric light, it's really hard to see.
Well, it doesn't help.
I'll get it right, but if we had daylight on it.
It doesn't help that I've only got one light in the entire factory because I've ripped them all down.
Oh, there's spotlights.
I have totally decimated the factory. Look at it, it's empty. We're tearing it apart. We've got 3 days from tomorrow to get out of here. And I'm actually confident now. I just still got a bit to do.
That's
right,
why I just wanted to test that. You don't have to do the rest
no,
of
that looks really, really good. No, I'm going to do it while I'm here. We'll just get it done and then I can move on to the next job.
You think that's alright? I mean...
I think that's perfect. We don't need to make this double thickness, do we?
No.
No.
Well,
let's save the material for the clears you're going to make.
No, the cushions.
What cushions?
The material's not for the clears. We've got
oh shit, I forgot about it. I've got to make them too. Oh, I've got to make them too. What do I have to make?
The cushions to go underneath. And you know what they said on...
OC tenders.
Yeah, they said the woman that makes these, differently, but anyway, this is our solution, and that makes the cushions.
Yeah.
Makes the cushions are the hardest thing to make.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if I make the foam cubes, you can make the cushions on the boat.
Can we do something that's got rounded edges rather
than they'll
cubes?
Be sounded round. Yeah, they'll be round. Yeah.
Because round is better than cubes.
Okay, all right, done. Let's get back to work. Come on, let's go. Oh, that looks absolutely brilliant. That's exactly what I've envisaged. Stick the foam all the way around. Stick it all the way around. Yeah, that's perfect. Brilliant, cool. Brilliant, it's good low density. LD29 that foam is, it's from England. It's super light, it's like lighter than PFD foam. So I've got a super heavy tender with very light foam. So you cut the fabric with the hot knife. Yeah. And why'd you do that?
It stops it fraying. There's a bit fraying here, but I can just run the knife along it. And it's not actually fraying. It's just
can you actually see what the edge looks like? Is it melted, is it?
It's not really melted. Yeah, you can just put it.
Yeah, it does actually seal it. Well, that's good. No, that's brilliant. So that hot knife is going to have a very big future for Janet. Making clears, 5 for text shades, window shades. I'm very excited. I'm retiring on Friday. Did I tell you that?
I'm retired, believe it or not.
This is retirement.
3 years ago.
Sewing?
4 years ago.
Sewing's retirement. That's what you do for fun.
So is fiberglassing, apparently.
Well, you haven't been doing it. I've got fiberglass all over my arms at the moment. I've been going hard.
No, I said once you start the tender, I said I'm not doing the tender. I told you that.
I officially finished major fiberglassing today. Did the last 3 jobs. I did the tender fenders for the back of the boat. I keep saying it wrong. And the step for our lines. I did that as well. So that hopefully is the last bit of fiberglassing that I have to do for some time until we start fixing the boat. So 2 hours after I made this, I've just demolded it. And it was a rush job, and I'm going to have to do a bit of cleaning and polishing, but it's not want to come out. So there we go. Once that's all polished up, that's going to look pretty good actually, and that'll give you a place to put your foot, just to give you the opportunity not to slip off and slip into the hatch that's immediately adjacent to it. But yep, easy job, easy jobs, and ones that I can do quickly and get the job done. I've been wanting to do this one for about 5 years. And I've just made a couple of tender fenders. I've just made 4 tender fenders, and they are a black glue-on section that's going to basically glue onto the back of the boat. That's hopefully going to protect it and hide the marks, because the black marks are starting to get a little bit annoying. Every time I come down to the boat, I've got to have a bit of a quick wipe down because it's annoying the hell out of me. The rest of the boat's beautiful and white, and got these big black marks on the back, so hopefully this will circumvent some of that. When I threw the moulds away, I kept this little section of the entire back corner and the stern of the boat, and that's given me the ability to be able to just take a little splash off it and then laminate some tender fenders. So you can imagine when this thing comes up, if a hard section of it was to hit the back of the boat, even though we're going to have foam on there as a rub rail, if that would hit the boat, it's going to mark it. So these guys here, very simple. Took me about 10 minutes to make. Just basically going to fit, and they're going to be cut right down to, probably only 5 centimetres on each side, but they'll come up nice. In worst cases, I'll give it a polish, or we'll just re-gel coat it, and they will fit just over the back stern of the boat. And I've got 4 of them. So once again, made all of them, and having that available to me is really nice. I can just get on with those, cut them with a bandsaw, and then take them down to the boats, prepare the surface and fit them pretty quickly. That's going to be good.